Hi students, today I'm going to explain to you about the concept of minimal curve using an example. Okay, so first before going to the concept of minimal curve, we'll see what functional dependencies. This I have explained to you in one of my previous video lecture. Hope all of you have seen the lecture on closures, finding the attribute closure and dependency closure. So in that I have mentioned about the concept of functional dependency and how we find attribute closure and functional dependency closure. So in doing the minimal curve, we require to know how to find the attribute closure. So kindly, those who have not yet viewed that video lecture, please go through it. And here I'll just give you a brief intro about this functional dependency before going to our topic. Okay. So just see, if this is a functional dependency, it means that this attribute C is dependent on attribute A. So whenever there is a change in attribute A, it should definitely affect this attribute C. Similarly, if two rows are having the same value for A, those two rows should definitely have the same value for attribute C. Okay, and so that is the main concept of functional dependency. And in this way, when we are given a question with a set of functional dependencies, this set of functional dependencies give us an idea about the relation. Okay, so how these attributes in the relations are connected and which attribute has no connection with the other attributes. So we get a brief idea of the relationship between various attributes in a relation. But when we are given a set like this, in many of the cases, this set will not be the minimal set. Okay, some of the functional dependencies may be just another representation or a combination of some of the of other functional dependencies. Okay, so such repetitions actually it can be avoided because removing some functional dependencies will not affect calculation of our attribute closure set and so on, and it will not affect finding a candidate key process or anything. So such functional dependencies are actually just repetition in the set. So those can be avoided or eliminated. So in this question, so this minimal curve, it means the minimal set of functional dependency, which we get after removing these unnecessary or redundant functional dependencies. Okay. So this is what we are going to see in this video lecture. So first we will go to the steps. So hope you know what minimal curve is. It is the minimal set of functional dependencies from the given set of functional dependencies. Okay. So for finding this, mainly we have to follow three steps. So first step one is to decompose RHS into single attributes. Okay. RHS into single attributes. That is the first step. Step 2, to remove extraneous attributes. Remove extraneous attributes. And step 3, it is to remove redundant FDs or functional dependencies. Okay, so these are the main three steps we have to follow to find the minimal set from a given set of functional dependencies. So first we will go to the first step. Okay, so first step is to decompose these given functional dependencies with where the RHS is having more than one attribute into different functional dependencies. That is, we have to decompose that functional dependency based on the number of attributes in the RHS side. So we see the functional dependencies one by one. First one is A implies C. So there the RHS is having only a single attribute. So we can write it as such. Next one is AB implies C. There also we are having only a single attribute, so we can write it same way. Next, C implies DI. It is having two attributes of the RHS, so that has to be splitted. You can write it C implies D and C implies I. Okay, so we have splitted it into two FDs. Next one is CD implies I. That you can write in the same way. Next, EC implies AB. Similar to this, we'll have to split it. EC implies A. EC implies B. Okay. Next, AI implies C. You can write in the same way. So, AI implies C. So this will be the set of functional dependencies after we do step 1, that is decomposing RHS into single attributes. So now if you go through these functional dependencies, you can see that all the RHS attributes are having only simple attributes. Okay. Next, step 2 is to remove extraneous attributes. So what do you mean by this extraneous attributes? Just so for removing extraneous attributes, we need to go through FDs which are having more than one attribute on the LHS side. Okay. So here just see AB implies C. So to find the extraneous attribute in this, extraneous means if you are removing B and when you find A closure, if in the closure set C is coming, it means B is not a necessary attribute in this. Okay, just one more time. If you are removing B and you are finding the A closure, okay, removing B and finding A closure, and in the closure set, if you are able to get this C or the RHS attribute, then this B is an extraneous attribute. Same way, when you are finding B closure without this A, when you are finding B closure and if you are able to get C, then this A is an extraneous attribute. Okay, so it's that way we have to find the extraneous attributes in the set of functional dependencies given. That is step 2. So in A implies C, A is a single attribute, so you can write it in the same way. A implies C. Next is AB implies C. To find the extraneous attribute in AB implies C, first we'll find A closure. A closure is equal to, first will be the element itself. Next what you will get? From A you can get C. Okay. And from C you will get D and I. Okay. No more elements can be got in this closure set because we have covered everything. Now here there is E required. E is not there in the closure set. So this will be our A closure. Okay. Now just go through this A closure and this A closure contains C. Okay. So that means in this AB implies C, without the help of this B attribute, this A is able to attain C. So it means this B is an extraneous attribute in this functional dependency. So this this B can be eliminated. Then we'll get A implies C. A implies C is already is already there in the set. So this can be eliminated. So it will not come in the step 2. Okay. Next, C implies D. Just write it as such because it is a single attribute. Next is C implies I. Next, CD implies I. There also you will have to follow the same procedure like we have done here. First find C closure. C closure, what all you'll get? You'll get from C, you'll get C itself, then from C you'll get D, I. Okay. So E we have not received in the closure set, so C closure will be C, D and I. So in C closure, we are able to receive, means we are able to attain C, D and I. So it means without the help of attribute D, you are able to attain this I. So it means this D attribute, it is an extraneous attribute in this functional dependency. So this D can be eliminated. Then the resulting FD will be C implies I, which is already there. Okay. So this also can be eliminated. Okay. So this also will not come in the second set. Next we will go for EC implies A. In EC implies A, we have to repeat the same process we have done here and see if in A closure we are able to get A. Okay. So E closure, just if you scan through these FDs, you can see that there is no FDs here with E coming on the LHS side. So definitely in E closure you will get only E. You will not be able to attain A. So this E means this C cannot be an extraneous attribute in this case, because with the help of E alone you are not able to attain A. So next we can see C closure to find if E is extraneous. Okay. So C closure, if you see, it gives only C, D and I. It doesn't give A. So here both E and C are required to get A. Okay. So here nothing is extraneous. So you can write this FD as it is. EC implies A. Okay. Same way, EC implies B also. In C closure you won't get B, and E closure you will get only E. So those two are required to get B. So that also you can repeat same like you have done in this case. Okay. So EC implies B will also go. Next is AI implies C. Here just see this set of FDs. You can see E alone or I alone doesn't come in any of the LHS attribute, LHS side. So E alone or I alone will not give this attribute C in the closure set. So this functional dependency also doesn't contain any extraneous attribute. So that can be repeated. EI implies C. Okay. So this will be our second set after removing these two functional dependencies. So in our second step, we could eliminate two functional dependencies from the original set. Now we will go to the third step. So third step is removing redundant FDs. So for removing redundant FDs, you will have to be familiar about our inference rules or this Armstrong's axioms, which I have mentioned which I have explained in the previous video lecture. Okay. So hope all of you know about these inference rules. In some cases, you may have to apply those inference rules to eliminate some of the redundant FDs. Okay. So here, to eliminate this, what you will have to do is, first you will have to see if this function dependency is redundant. Okay. So for that, just ignore that and scan through these remaining functional dependencies to find A closure. If you ignore this and if you try to find the A closure from this set, what all elements will you get? You will get only A, because here none of the functional dependencies are having A on the left hand side. So A closure will give only A and you cannot get C. So this it means that this A implies C functional dependency, it is not a redundant. So that we can write here. So that will come in the third one. Next is C implies D. Same way as we have done in the first case, just ignore this functional dependency and try to find C closure. So now finding C closure, we will get C and this is not there, so you will not get D. Then from C you will get I. Okay. then nothing else. Because E is not there, so you cannot go through these. So the C closure will give only C and I, no other elements. So you are not able to get D. Okay. Without this functional dependency, C closure is not able to give D. So it means this functional dependency is required in a minimal set. So this cannot be eliminated. Okay, C implies D is required. Now we try the same thing with this functional dependency and try to find the C closure. Now you will get C, D, and this functional dependency is not there, so you will not get I. You cannot get I from C closure through any other functional dependency. So it means this functional dependency is also required. It cannot be eliminated. So write that also. Okay, C implies I. Now go to this step. Just ignore this and try to find EC closure. Here EC closure will give EC, then you will get B, and with this EC and B, from C you can get D and I. Okay, but in none of the case you are able to get A. So by ignoring this functional dependency in EC closure, you are not able to get A. Okay, so it means this functional dependency is also required. That has to be written. Same way, if you see this EC implies B, ignoring this EC implies B, it gives EC, A, and from C you get D and I. So EC closure will give EC, A, D and I. It doesn't give B without this functional dependency. So this functional dependency is not redundant. That also should be included in the third set. Okay. Next, EI implies C. This EI implies C. By scanning through the other functional dependencies, you can see that EI closure. By ignoring this EI implies C, EI closure will give only E and I, because there are no other functional dependencies having E and I in the left hand side. Okay. So EI closure can never give attribute C without this functional dependency. So this is also a necessary FD. So that should also be included in the final set. Okay. So the set of functional dependency which we get after executing the third step, that will be a minimal step. So this is how we should find a functional dependency, like minimal cover, if we are given a set of functional dependencies like this. Okay. So hope this lecture is clear for you. Thank you for watching the video.